Namaste, angels. This is going to be the new moon in Aries reading. If you saw my general reading or my love reading, you know that a lot of judgment and what I felt was Pluto energy in general kept coming up in different forms. I had like from an oracle deck, judgment came up, and then from the tarot deck, judgment came up. So I looked into the astrology of this. Let me go ahead and shuffle these while I'm talking to you, just to show you that we're beginning with the Ace of Pentacles before I mix them up a little bit more, which is about the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts, followed by the Eight of Fire, or Eight of Wands, events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, and many things are happening at once. So if something new with regard to abundance and or our finances or work, maybe specifically, was like stuck or felt stuck to us and wasn't moving, the Eight of Wands is indicative of movement. Wands in general are indicative of movement for me, and also communication. So if you're waiting for some sort of news about some type of abundance, could be coming in now. So I was saying judgment came up a lot. I also mentioned the Gemini energy, and I said maybe it was attributable to Venus or Mercury, both of which were in Taurus. There was a lot of Earth energy too. So I looked into the astrology because I was curious about the repeating cards, some of which I wasn't sure if there was a transit or not. And I found out that, as I had already mentioned to you, the new moon was occurring last night at 10:30 p.m., 10:30, which is a 13:04, 11:11, or 22, at 22 degrees, Aries. So another 13:04 or 11:11. That's interesting enough to me. And there's a few transits like that this week that are with numbers that I've been talking about, that involve numbers I've been talking about since I've been on YouTube, and their meanings. So not just 11:11 or 13 or 22, master number 22, but also 6:13. There's a transit that occurs at 6:13 a.m. sometime this week. I'll go over it. I mean, I have the list still, so I'll go over it at the end of this reading, what that was, like what else is occurring during the period for which this new moon covers. But there's also a transit so there's one at 6:13, this one's at 13, basically 10:30, and there's one at 2:22 sometime this week also, that all of which I went over during the general reading, but I don't remember off the top of my head what they were. But that's not all I was going to tell you though. So not only was also this occurred on the 11th, right? Yesterday was the 11th. So it's April. So that's another 4, 13 or 11, 11 or 22. And then on the 11th, so together it's all a 6, very Venus, very mother, divine mother, at 10:30, 13 or 4, 11, 11. We had the first new moon of the zodiacal new year. So it's a really I don't know, a special one, I guess, in terms of astrology. And again, it happened at 22 degrees. So another 13:04, 11:11 in the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars along with Scorpio. Scorpio is in part ruled by Pluto and in part by Mars. By the way, our new overall energy is the Six of Swords. The challenging times are over. They're coming to an end if they're not over already, and you can now breathe a sigh of relief, let go of the past, and embrace the happier times to come. This can be literal or metaphoric. This can be about actually being able to travel, and this can be a card of travel or literal movement, or it can just mean, again, that the worst is behind you and you can look forward to better. And the Three of Wands is also an indication of that. The Three of Wands means that you've almost completely successfully manifested something new in your life. Of course, a Four of Wands makes it complete. A 4 or 13 or 22 or 11 makes it complete. But the 3 makes it like something tangible that you can actually see it taking form and believe it's really happening. Abundance. Things are looking very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. Also upright behind that is the 10 of Swords, which very much is like the 6 of Swords. And I always say that, like, when you see one, the other is usually not far behind, because this too is about the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. So we're supposed to just look forward, right? There should be an expectation of good times ahead. We shouldn't be waiting for the other shoe to drop anymore, is what the card's kind of trying to say. Embrace the change and expect things to get better. Now, somebody can even be recovering from an addiction. And then you've got, here's the earth energy I was talking about. Look, all of the next cards are earth, or pentacles. They're not all upright though. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Your success has brought you financial security and the reward of much deserved time off to enjoy your own company. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or a self-employment opportunity that will be very successful. And the Knight of Pentacles, he is trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and get as much accomplished as possible. So this I attributed to all the Pentacles energy and the court cards in particular that was coming up in the other readings that I did this weekend. I attributed largely to Venus and Mercury both being in Taurus, or they will be by the end of this week. Venus, of course, ruler of the sign of Taurus. So she's like going home. Let me finish the story before I shuffle these, because I'm just gonna keep stopping. So where was I? Mars, right? So Mars is in part ruler of Scorpio. So that could be one of the reasons why all the Judgment and Pluto sort of energy kept popping up. But Mars is also a ruler of Aries, of course, where the sun is, where this moon is or was, where Venus and or Mercury would still be until they enter Taurus. And Chiron is also there in Aries. So there's all these energies, it's, and which could explain why some of the fire stuff that came up. We had court cards in the fire element too that popped up. And I was like, maybe this is Jupiter, which it still could be, because the new moon's ruler, so Mars, is actually trine Jupiter right now, which is in Aquarius, which I also mentioned during the reading. And so together, those two are about like increased feelings of luck and good fortune and optimism, right? Being positive. So that's one thing. And then aside from that, we also have a trine between Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. I think Jupiter and Mars I'm trying to remember this, are sextile the sun and the moon and Venus maybe. I don't write anything down, I rarely do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So that gives us, like a need to, or inspires us to like look for clarity, which we saw in the reading was coming in. And from a few different aspects, we saw that we're going to be getting some clarity. And also to take action. Wands, again, are about action. Mars is the planet of action and aggression. So we talked about all of these things over the weekend. But also on top of that, you have Mercury in Aries, which will also be sextile, or was sextile, Saturn, which is in Aquarius, along with Jupiter. And those things, that transit is good for like setting an intention and hopes and dreams. And we saw a lot of stuff about hopes and dreams. 9 of Cups came up several times. So we have that. And then that may be it. But definitely it was like all the cards that we saw. I also, like when I looked up the astrology, saw like explanations for it. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I started talking about Pluto also, because we saw the Judgment so many times. I didn't even finish Pluto. So Pluto is also going to be in some sort of like difficult angle against the sun and the moon. and will like cause a need for change and transformation. And we saw that too. I think a card called transformation and one called like transition or something came out in the reading too. But Pluto, at the end of the day, is about death and rebirth, you know, so it's like always moving toward the new, sort of like the cards that we just saw, the 10 of Swords and the 6 of Swords. Let what's done be done. If it involves pain or whatever, like allow yourself to go through that and deal with that, but then let it be done and move on to the new. Speaking of things being done and completed, we've also seen a lot of nines lately. I even posted, like, I had this weird experience with my PO box that I started out with a PO box at the beginning of the week. There was PO box number 985, which I've had for 5 years, and something, I don't know, went awry with it. So the post office tried to change me 985, which equals 1304, 1111, by the way. They tried to change me to 454, which also equals 1304, 1111. And the system wouldn't allow them to, and it spit out 99. And she's like, well, this is kind of, you're gonna have to bend down to go to this PO box. It's kind of lower. I'm like, I'll take 99. It's okay. And then like that prince, the Queen Elizabeth's husband, he died, right? He was 99. They're just 99s all over the place. But nine is a number of not only humanitarianism and freedom, similar to the energy of Aquarius, but also to endings, particularly like karmic completion. So I hope that made sense, because I know I just threw a whole bunch of stuff together, but I wanted to let you guys know what I've been seeing, what I've been feeling, what I've been thinking, and what I actually looked up and researched. Right? That wasn't my intuition. That was me looking into the astrology. In terms of what I have had intuition about and senses about, and some of you already gotten back to me, that's my exact story. This is the personal reading of a few people already. So I had been talking about Judas for like the past 2 or 3 weeks in the readings and stuff. Like somebody that would be like, you guys know what Judas means, like a Judas, a fake friend or something. And I was saying this week, similar to the real Judas, how he was regretful. And I mean, his regret caused him to take his own life, but he was regretful like almost immediately after he, did what he did to Jesus. And so he ended up doing that. But I'm not suggesting that that's what's going to be happening with the people that cause you harm or hurt, but the part about the regret. Similarly, the king, right, Pontius Pilate, the one who said, who do you want me to kill or whatever, these criminals or this guy, Jesus? People pick Jesus. So he also was regretful that he had been so like cavalier about it instead of just prosecuting the people that were guilty of crimes. And so he's said to have like gone away and like retired and possibly like died off too, or, he went away out of obscurity and into obscurity. And nobody knew where he was. Nobody cared. So it's this sort of thing, like somebody that abandoned you and or caused you some sort of hurt, and just to feel like, you were alone. Even people that are physically together, sometimes somebody has done that. You're physically friendly. You can tell when there's like distance that's been created, and when somebody's not really giving you any energy, right? When they've withdrawn their energy, even if they're physically there, they're not there, right? They've disengaged, and you can tell that. And so they are realizing, this person is realizing that they, basically abandoned you, possibly to protect their own self, their own ego, like some sort of fragility, fear. They realized that they were becoming too connected to you. The connection was too strong, and that was scary, or maybe even addicted to you. One of my exes used to always say that he was like addicted to me, and it really bothered him. Addicted to me. There's like jealousy, like a person knows that within them, they have this characteristic that maybe you're not even familiar with, you haven't seen, but you were bringing that up in them, and they didn't want to deal with whatever this thing is that you were bringing up with them. So rather than deal with it, they abandon you. So if you've experienced that, maybe some more detail will come out about it here. But again, I've already talked about it, and we've already seen detail about it come out in my general reading and in my love reading for the week of April 11th through the 17th. So now, as I was saying, this is the High Priestess, obviously. She's all about intuition. She's super smart. She's super like street smart, and like she's got it all going on, and she uses all the information that she has, you know, to formulate like decide what her next move is, and to make her decisions and all these things, formulate a plan, all that kind of stuff. She uses her street smarts, her intelligence, you know, wisdom, information, clarity, intuition, gut feelings, her soul, her heart, all that stuff. She puts it all together. Okay, this is what my next move is going to be. That's the High Priestess. Emperor is also pretty intuitive. I mean, he may be a Scorpio, right? So that's super intuitive naturally. But even as an Aries, he's got like this sort of internal wisdom. I mean, the energy is sort of representative of like an older person, right? Older and wiser. And together, this can be telling us something about a father and daughter, or, you know, an older male or masculine and a younger female or feminine. But even in love, this is a super, super powerful combination. Very, again, intuitive couple, authoritative, and could be talking about balancing, the need for balancing energy. Very representative of a divine union, or of divine union, period. Not necessarily a divine union, like in particular, of divine union, of that energy. And could be like warning us of a need for balancing out the energies so that we can like have this kind of merge, which is interesting because the outcome of my love reading was sacred sexuality. So that's like that's a card that's about like sexual merge, whether physical or energetic, between two divine beings. Behind that, also upright, we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a give and take. This also, this dynamic, this is the provider, this is the giver, and this is the receiver. And then we have the Six of Pentacles behind them, which is very much representative of the ability to both give and take, and the need to be able to do both. There could be some fear associated with such a strong energy and such a strong exchange of energy that this represents. And so that could be causing a panic and maybe even feelings of limbo and confusion. Page of Swords can be a sign of like confusion, a need for clarity, need for information in order to, you know, move forward to something. We have the Ace of Swords also trying to be visible here about some sort of new beginning. All right, so now that we've talked about those, I'm going to throw these in here too and shuffle these a bit in front of you guys. Hangman, we talked about too. Okay. Oh, look at that! There goes Death. Pluto. I promise you I had no idea. I'm going to put it back upside down how it was, and then we'll give these a shuffle. You know what else that Emperor and High Priestess represent? Mars in Gemini. That's where Mars is right now, the ruler of Aries, where the moon is. It's located in Gemini. The Magician just reminded me of that. Oh, look! There's more Gemini. The Magician and the Lovers, both of which represent the sign of Gemini. And there goes the Death again. They're trying to talk to us already. Or maybe to co-sign what I was just saying. Even though I wasn't sure if it was gibberish or not. I don't learn the lesson though. Like, maybe you should write this down. I never do. There's the Nine of Cups I talked about. See, that's what sent me on this rant, or one of the cards that sent me on that rant. So now we have the next card is the King of Wands in reverse. Our overall energy, as it was in the general reading, I think. Pretty sure it was the general, not the love. Our overall energy is the Nine of Cups yet again. I'm going to pull now some cards for us of what new is to come because of the new moon. Let's say to come or to be started, initiated by the next major moon cycle, which is the full moon, of course. And so first, in a general sense in our life, what can we look forward to? What's to come new? Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Let's talk about the Seven of Pentacles in reverse a bit. Whether upright or reverse, this card tends to be about some sort of return on investment. So something that we have put our energy into, put our efforts into, is coming to pass, which aligns very nicely with our overall energy, right? The Nine of Cups is about wishes coming true, goals that we've set, becoming accomplishments coming true, prayers being answered, all of that. So something that you trying to manifest, you put work into, you put effort into, or you put your energy behind, maybe a focus intention or something coming to pass, return on investment. Could be even in a physical sense. Like maybe you made a literal investment, like you took some money and you said, put it on this stock or bond or whatever. Buy me some Bitcoin. And there may be some sort of payoff by the full moon, or again, something that's initiated. So the price will start to rise or something by the full moon. And around us. So with this, I'll use my normal spread kind of, but in terms of newness only. So around us, maybe with our close friends, our co-workers, family members, close family members, romantic interest, romantic partner. What's going on with the people around us? What will be new? And it is the Hierophant. Contracts, commitments. So positive, this is about positive stuff. It is growth. Somebody could be entering a contract, maybe for a home, maybe for a new job, maybe they're getting married, right? That's a contractual agreement, a commitment. The Hierophant for me also can be about making changes, which I said Pluto was going to be about changes, making changes to our the people, places, and or things with which we surround ourselves because they no longer align with our vibration. And that too is positive. Of course, Major Arcana card 5, the Hierophant most directly represents the sign of Taurus, where again, Venus will be, as of this week, she leaves Aries and goes into Taurus, which she rules. Work, finance, what will be different? Judgment. You guys saw me shuffle, so this is not prepared in advance. Judgment is one of my favorite cards because for me it's about abundance that is earned. So this is, we put our work, this is work and finance. We literally put our labors, our efforts into something, and the universe is paying us back, not just our boss, some kind of way. So this is about increase, but also rewards, awards, accolades, recognition, credit, just you being acknowledged in a way that doesn't go unnoticed. Love and relationship. What's going to be new? Four of Cups in reverse. It could be a little bit more exciting. I would like it to be a little bit more exciting, but it is what it is. Four of Cups is good, though. It's about getting back in the game. So whereas we have maybe just been missing out on opportunities and, not taking a chance on ourselves or on somebody that was interested in us and maybe sitting at home and, oh, woe is me and all that kind of stuff, this is like the Four of Cups upright can be about like resting on your laurels, as they say. This is getting off your ass and getting back into the game, engaging in life, taking action. This is Mars, right? That's pushing you. In our physical health, what's new? The sun. It doesn't get much better than that. The sun is, this is a super positive card. I mean, I always say that when the sun comes up, something really positive with the health, there's a turnaround. The health is improving. If anybody's experiencing anything that involves rays like radiation, chemotherapy, X-ray, MRI, sonogram, mammogram, all these things turning out well for us. Spiritual health. What's new? And it's the world. And this is the same exact card that came out for our spiritual health in the general reading. The same exact card. Isn't that insane? And in this position, as I said there, I'm just realizing 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards and a 6-card spread. Isn't that crazy? This card in this placement is about the clarity that I talked about when I was talking about the different transits and things that's going on in the universe, in the sky right now too, in tandem with this moon, that we would be getting clarity. That's what the world is about. Like really clear pieces of information, intuition, dreams, some sort of psychic awareness, whatever ability, however news and information comes to you from the universe, from your guides, from your ancestors, from the angels, from wherever it comes, very, very clear during this period. And that may be something that you hoped for, asked for, prayed for, dreamed of, and it's coming in response possibly to the 9 of Cups. So now I'm going to do another spread real quick with my 2 decks from Tony Carmine's Salerno, or 2 decks that I have from him. And those are the Mary Magdalene Oracle and the Universal Love Oracle. So with this one, we're beginning with soulmate. It's pretty straightforward, except sometimes we tend to think that like soulmate is only, in love and romantic, and it means we go off into the sunset forever and ever. And usually, I think in this deck, it is sort of meant to mean that, and we use it that way. But with this Judas thing, I explained yesterday that sometimes a soulmate is just somebody that we have some sort of contractual agreement at the soul level with. And that contractual agreement isn't necessarily meant to be forever. Or necessarily even romantic. This can be another meaning, perhaps, of the Hierophant. It might mean that we have some sort of experience with a soulmate or with somebody that we have a contractual agreement with. Maybe not in this plane, on the 3D plane, but, on a spiritual level. And that could be coming up to be dealt with this week. Also, retreat. It's very earth and air, and is about introspection. So it can be very Taurus and Aquarius. Again, we have Venus in Taurus. We have Jupiter in Aquarius. We also have Aquarius as ruler, Uranus in Taurus. So it's like all connected. And this one's the next card is in reverse. It is reflection. So we'll shuffle these. All right, there's fear. It's upside down. So maybe it's tied to like that 4 of Cups in reverse too. Like we're ready to get back into the game, because this is a love deck. We're ready to get back into the game in terms of love, because we're releasing that fear. And then this is a very Mars, so very Aries and Jupiter sort of energy and card. Message from afar. It could be a message from one of those planets, right? It could be a message from the universe. It could be a literal 3D message from afar, like long distance, or somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while. So there is separation between you. There is distance, and so it's afar in that sense. The next card is also very fiery, but it's in reverse. Gateway, I'll do one more. It's message from afar again. I dropped it. Let's see what fell. So message from afar fell. Physical body, in reverse though. So again, I think the physical body is not necessarily with you. I mean, I think it could be afar in terms of separation. There's distance between you. Sorrow in reverse, or maybe like moving beyond that sorrow and being ready to re-engage. And enchantment. So this could be about being disenchanted instead. And then that revealed love when they all fell. So that's still at the foundation is still love. I was saying I would make this my last one. And then when I saw a message from afar again, I felt like it was even more appropriate because we've, sort of come full circle with our shuffling. Lots of piles, get them all mixed up. And birth. So death and rebirth again is what Pluto's all about, what this moon is all about. And then here we have heaven and earth. It's fire, it's earth, and it's about making, it's fire, it's air. And it's about making your heaven right here. And the way to do that is to release hell, right? To let go of hell. So what is hell? It's like the negative emotions and things that we hold on to. So we keep ourselves imprisoned in them. This is resentment. This is regret. Those things that I was talking about. The inability to forgive, ego, pride, all of that, letting go of that so that you can be happy here. Sometimes it involves letting go of something physical and tangible, like maybe an addiction or, a person, a relationship. But usually for me, the way that I feel the energy, it's about a negative emotion instead. And then what will that leave you with? Love, again, is what's at the bottom, what's at the foundation. And it could be definitely an answer to a prayer that this is coming. These we already shuffled, and I don't even know if I'm going to use them or what I would use them for. So let me take them away. We'll shuffle these now. And War and Peace is the card with which we're beginning. And this is the card about, to me, this is very Emperor and High Priestess too. I don't know if you guys are getting it, but the High Priestess is very, it's not religious. It's a spiritual card, but with the crosses, I'm getting High Priestess. And then with the War and Peace, like the authority and the fight, right? I'm getting the Mars. So it could be like the Mars and Gemini and or the High Priestess and the Emperor that we saw. The next card's in reverse. It's the Secret. But War and Peace is about your mind and your heart sort of fighting. They're not on the same page. Something which is similar to the Lovers. It's like, speaking of Gemini, it's like a heart versus head debate. We got acceptance. We're back to the War and Peace again already. So the message there could be like accepting what is and not fighting, like surrendering to what is. To who is, and that could be universal Christ or love, right? Jesus is love. Love is Jesus. Is a belief of many people. Whether it is of yours or not, we have love here. And it's followed by this little children card. And I see a lot of similarity here. I see the fire. I see a lot of the red. And what are these? Puddles in both cards. The black circles. They look like sort of like lily pads or something. Maybe. Love and little children. Little children is about innocence. Like, so maybe it's telling us, it's sending us a message about how little children are not afraid of anything, right? They're not afraid. They start with love. That's their foundation for sure. And they have to be taught hate, you know? And then they're like fearless too. They don't have any fear of trying new things usually, or meeting new people, or differences, and it's like they don't even see them. So I think that could be the message for us to take a lesson from them. And then our new overall energy here is co-creation. So co-creation and birth together, these could be very literal, and somebody could be getting pregnant during this period too, right? Together we make a baby. And birth, somebody could be giving birth. This doesn't matter which one I put on the bottom or which one I put on the top. These are the placements. Divine being or couple. Recent past. Near future. Masculine higher self. Blocks to individual or shared progress. This is, the whole spread is, toward something new that's coming, right? This is what the feminine can do to help herself, what the masculine can, what the universe wants to help us with, and the outcome. And it'll be the same with the other cards. These I can't tell if they're upright or reverse. I think I'm going to read them all upright though. That one I just laid. Okay, no, that's right. I was going to say I laid it in reverse. Okay, here we go. I'm seeing how much these cards have in common too. I didn't notice it before. Is it me? It's the red and yellow and like the bursting. I think it's funny that we got two very similar cards. That's the overall energy. All right, this one goes here. And this one goes here. Divine being or couple. We have the mystic and crucifixion. So there could be a time during this period where, because of your spirituality and maybe some of the stuff you're into, aliens, angels, dead people, I don't know, that you experience a persecution, but you're guided. This is very Aquarian energy. You're guided to, feel free to be who you are. And based on the astrology, this is, and we talked about this during the general reading, this is a period where we should be feeling like freer than usual. So take advantage of that. And don't pay any people, and tell them to mind their business. Right? Don't pay people any mind. The recent past, we have past lives and tantric union. Very nice. So these energies coming up to be dealt with, and you may have actually experienced something, whether in your dreams or in an awake state, and maybe even physically, like an actual connection of dealing with some sort of past life relationship, obviously romantic relationship, even sexual partnership, and making that connection. It's very sacred sexuality, right? These two cards together. Near future. Family and transmutation. There's some sort of rising above. It could be rising above your family, like your like maybe generational curses is something that I'm getting, or like the family making some kind of comeback, like bouncing back, rising from the ashes from after some sort of experience. Near future. I mean, I guess the experience could be the pandemic, right? Like people are bouncing back now. Like I've lived in New York, so we experienced it a lot differently than a lot of other states. Some states, barely closed at all, but we've been pretty shut, and businesses are still closed. You see, I need to get my nails done. All three of the nail salons that I frequent, like the one that I always went to for the most part, they've been closed. They never reopened once the pandemic started. So they closed like last March, and that was the end of it. Then one that had been open during the pandemic, or was like the first to open right away. They were I got to go there like once, twice. Then boom, they were closed. They haven't reopened. Then I started going to this other one that I had been to before, but that it wasn't my primary one, and now that one is temporarily closed. These are all like in my neighborhood. So basically, they're all the nail salons in my neighborhood are closed. Um, And so I say all that to say, restaurants, businesses. I know, like my girlfriend just went back to work in a physical way. She's in insurance, but she had been working from home. Like her place just reopened. So it could be, people bouncing back in that way and getting back to normal near future. Masculine's higher self. Wow. The messenger and forgiveness. This is super. Judas is regretful and wants forgiveness, right? Whether that Judas is the masculine himself or it's the feminine, like whoever's seeking the forgiveness, it doesn't matter. This is some sort of message or information coming in, or maybe even physical contact, and this is the forgiveness being asked for and or given. And isn't this like Mars and Gemini, or High Priestess and Emperor? It's very like red and white, like it's giving me fire and air. And the messenger is always air anyway. Gabriel is represented by air. Wow. Blocks to individual or shared progress. So what's been holding us up, holding us back? Purgatory. So that feeling of limbo and waiting for something magical to just happen rather than taking action. And look at the colors in these two. Like how all these cards that we're getting with these similarities, like both of them about, have like these bursts, like an explosion of colors and clouds and stuff. But purgatory is about feeling stuck, feeling like you're in limbo. You're in between heaven and hell. We want the heaven on earth, but right now we're stuck in the middle. So, and we've been waiting for things to just happen, and things do just happen. But sometimes we also need to take action. Like even in the scriptures, in the Bible, they say like prayer without works is dead. Meaning you need to take action behind that prayer. You can't just pray and, leave it out there and don't put any energy behind it. So that's what's been blocking us. So get with the action. Mars should help you to do that. Aries energy should help you to do that. And then you can help yourself. But let's see what the cards say, what we can do to help ourselves. For the feminine, illumination and listening. So both of these are very much about coming into information through some sort of like psychic awareness, it seems. And when you get that clarity, it's going to tell you what to do. And as we discussed, more clarity is coming in. Very, very clear messages. So all you have to do is listen and follow. Masculine, what can he do to help himself with this block? Whoa. Magdalene. And expectancy. So expectancy, even though I used the word expect earlier in the reading, I said like expect things to be positive going on from now on. Expectancy, the card, is about not like putting so many restrictions on the universe that it can't work miracles in our life. It can't do things because we're like expecting something that is so specific. I want this in this way, at this time, like it's in my time, not divine time, and it's this way. It's this person with red hair and blue eyes, like very, very super specific, because that limits what the universe can give us, especially if that thing isn't meant for us. Like if we're not meant to be with somebody, for example, that is red-haired and blue-eyed, and that's the only thing we're willing to entertain, then the universe can't work a miracle in our life because that's not, that we're not destined for that. So it's limiting to be, to over specify your desires to the universe. In fact, if we wanted to work miracles, since the universe and God's imagination and abilities are so far beyond what we are able to conceive with our brains, we shouldn't. We have no idea what it can provide to us if we just say, I need my needs fulfilled, right? I need my financial needs fulfilled. I need my needs with regard to love and relationship and companionship fulfilled, and leave it at that. And then the universe will send us what it wants, or what we want, or that we couldn't even imagine. So better than what we wanted and what we asked for. In terms of the Magdalene is about being your truest self, the most real version of you, daring to be different, and to do your own thing, and to not follow like societal norms, and not to conform, and to break free of the matrix, and not worry about making mistakes. So letting go of fear. It's that real feeling of freedom that we've been talking about. But I think in connection with expectation, it's about not necessarily worrying about, and what the masculine can do to help himself, not necessarily worrying about being what or who other people expect you to be. You be you. And that's going to get you where you want to be. What the universe wants to do to help us. Whoa! This is all recorded live. Y'all saw me shuffle. Y'all saw me deal. The universe wants to help us with soulmate love right now. Right now. In this period. How awesome is that? And the outcome of the reading. The two things we need to achieve it. Guardian angel, so this is the spiritual aspect, and an earth connection. With these two together and our free will. Like if we're willing to listen, again, to the guidance that's given to us, and we're willing to be grounded and do what we need to do here, taking the action that we need to do here, then we can have this. The universe wants to help us with it. We can definitely have it if we want it to. A little further advice. Let's do it from both of these, and maybe from the other deck that I said I didn't know what I was going to do with that one. From the Animal Tarot to the masculine, we have the Two of Cups. So this is what wants to come to you now. Real partnership, reciprocity, your soulmate, your equal. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationships. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. This is also for other partnerships. They can be healed right now. So business partnerships, close friends, not, like platonic, but not like just associates or whatever. This would be like your best friend if you had some sort of falling out or something, family member, sibling. That relationship could be healed now. Parent and child. We saw father and daughter in the beginning, potentially with the Emperor and the High Priestess. It can be something like that. For the masculine, you have the Moon. I think your advice card was the Moon in the general reading too. It's important to trust your intuition. I'm sorry, for the feminine. It's important to trust your intuition even if you're unsure of what's happening. All will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary. So this is, again, being fearless and just listening. Just listening and following. If you can listen and follow, you can get what you want, if what you want is this outcome. Masculine. The Ace of Pentacles is back. The inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. And we saw that with the Hierophant too, right? Very nice. For the feminine, the Knight of Pentacles is back. All the cards that we saw before. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. It's time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. The Guardian Angel. And from the Mary Magdalene deck, it is Judgment. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Judgment, again, represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio in the tarot. And for me, is about abundance that is earned. In the tarot, in a general sense, it's also about judgment and being judgmental. And in this oracle deck, it is as well, primarily with yourself. Avoiding using harsh language or thoughts and judgment against yourself and putting yourself into a box. And again, particularly for the masculine, you got this Magdalene card. This is really being you and like sort of daring to be yourself and to not worry about what other people think. Remember the persecution and everything over here in the Mystic? And I said, tell people, mind their business. Tell them to mind their business. Perception. I don't remember exactly what perception means. It's like on the, when something's like on the tip of your like tongue. I don't want to tell you to you wrong. Hang on one second. Let me get the book. If I remember, it's not the most positive thing. It's a warning about people around us. Normally I turn right to a page. Okay, here. Perception. Beware. Yep. Someone you're attracted to has a tendency to use others to fill their own void. This is a Judas that you're attracted to, feminine. To some extent, this is true of most relationships. However, in this particular case, the void wanting to be filled is insatiable, meaning it cannot be filled. You will never fill it. Nothing you say or do will ever be enough, so tread carefully. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into other people's problems. All is not the way it's presented. Use your intuition and trust your natural instincts. In spite of its problems, a valuable lesson will be derived from this relationship as you realize that we are each responsible for our own well-being. Taking on another's emotional baggage is of no help to anyone, so remain emotionally detached and use your sixth sense. Well, this should be easy for you air signs, and for you others, I hope that you aren't much worse for the wear after you experience this, if it pertains to you as well. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the moon reading. I have enjoyed doing it for you. If you want to stick around, I'm going to quickly go, like I said, to my computer and where I have the list of what else is going on during this period until the full moon. Let's see. You can even hear me like turning it on. Oh, I think I have my volume off actually. But you hear me clicking and signing on. Oh, there it is. Volume's on. So you can hear me signing on. Bringing up the list now. And so starting from April 11th, at 6:10 p.m., 6:10 is another, not necessarily time, but number that I've mentioned to you before. Muhammad was born in the year 610, or like became the prophet in the year 6, was given the words of the Quran in the year 610. I think it was 610, and that's why Ramadan tends to, like, even though it moves with the calendar, similar to the Hebrew calendar, it does tend to fall around May, June, and go into that. And if not Ramadan, then you'll see like Eid and the other ones. I've like watched the pattern. In any case, 6:10 p.m. Pluto was sesquiquadrate the true node, which is Gemini. So if I had remembered that, then it would have made a lot more sense to me earlier. So I'm like learning right now with you guys too, or at least being reminded. Also, yesterday, April 11th, again at 10:30. Here on my list, I have 10:31. But whether it was 10:30 or 10:31 p.m., the new moon in Aries occurred at 22 degrees. April 12th, so that's today, is when we had the transit at 6:13 a.m. 6:13, which of course equals 19. Juno retrograde at 24 degrees Sagittarius. So there's another reason for Sagittarius and Jupiter to be coming up. April 14th at 2:22 p.m. Venus enters Taurus, 0 degrees Taurus. April 19th at 6:29 a.m. Mercury enters Taurus, 0 degrees Taurus. Also on April 19th at 4:33 p.m. the Sun enters Taurus, 0 degrees Taurus. April 20th at 2:59 a.m. we have the first quarter moon, 0 degrees Leo. Also on April 20th at 3:08 a.m. Vesta, the asteroid, goes direct. The asteroid of marriage. April 23rd at 7:49 a.m. Mars enters Cancer, 0 degrees Cancer. And April 26th at 11:31 p.m. the full moon in Scorpio, 7 degrees Scorpio. And it could be that Juno retrograde that we just read about that's bringing up this perception card and causing us to call our relationships into question, because that's what she does, particularly when she's in retrograde. Again, I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. I'll be back soon. Like I said, I have 2 more client readings to put up too. Namaste.